There we go. There we go. Finally. Okay, so I've started this stream twice already without you hearing anything I had to say. Luckily, it wasn't that important. Do I repeat myself for a third time? I probably should, shouldn't I? Okay, hope everyone's doing good. I'm doing great. Thank you for bearing with me while I took a week off. I needed that. Gave me a chance to just kind of reset a little bit. We talked about doing animals this week, didn't we? The problem is I haven't drawn animals in about 20 years. So I really need to study up my animals a little before I just, you know, do them live on stream. But yes, animals will be coming. We've also talked about doing heads and we've put it off and we've put it off and here we are. We're doing heads today. It's the first of what will probably be several head sessions over the next couple of months or so, you know, time depending. And we will get to real heads in good time. But today we are going to draw basically some plaster / marble heads. Why? Well, firstly, they're grayscale. Now I know that we could grayscale regular reference as well, but it does help eliminate some of the noise, so to speak, that we will get with real heads. Things are a little bit simplified here, which makes our job hopefully just a little bit easier. The relationship between light and shadow is relatively clear on these sculpts. So I think it's a good place to start. Let's see how it goes. Before we do, I want to talk about a couple of things with heads. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to just, yeah, I've got a couple of things, a couple of ideas I want to share with you guys. Okay. Safe code for the Bitcoin and cocaine stash. If I had either Bitcoin or cocaine, you would never see me again. That would be it. I'd be out of here. Be glad I have neither. All right. Let me just do something here. Yeah, let's talk about heads. Let me share this. We looked at this website the other day. Sketchfab. It's fabulous. So here's the thing. We talk about a lot of different methods, right? Riley method, Asoro method, Loomis method, you could say Bridgman method. Everyone's got a method for drawing heads, and they're all legitimate. And one is really as good as the next, in my opinion, for the most part. I think there's another system. I just haven't got my thoughts fully together on it. I feel like, look, all of these are plane-based systems, which makes sense, right? It's a volume, it's a mass. It makes sense that we talk about it in terms of planes. I also think that some of this stuff is prohibitively complicated for people starting out, and I would love to try and find a way of simplifying this whole process and making it slightly less intimidating, because I'm not sure we need to necessarily go this path. But at the same time, I've got to say, I'm not an authority on heads at all. I would say it's one of my weaker areas of knowledge, let's say. But I know a couple of things. So let's talk about the things that I do know. Okay, so we've got different methods here, right? Loomis, Asaro, Riley, they're all here to one degree or another. I will share these links, by the way. I'll put them in the description of this video once we're done. So here's Riley. The Riley method. Very, very famous method. I'm not 100% crazy about this model, especially the fact that it's not opaque. But the large ideas are correct, and it kind of gets the point across. So this is Riley. Asaro. Similar and yet different. And that's all good and well. All of these can be used to some degree or another. I think it's, you know, there's a number of, I need to gather my thoughts on this subject, because I feel like there's a lot to be said, and I'm not 100% sure the best way to go about saying it. Let me just show you guys something that I was looking at. Dun, dun, dun. There we go. Okay, here we have 3 skulls. On the left, we have, I believe goes in order of basically African, Asian, and then West European, right? Caucasian, let's say. As you can see, there's some pretty dramatic differences, right? Certainly in certain areas. So this idea of like this, you know, these systems, right? Whether it's Loomis, Asaro, whatever. And they're, you know, you look at their formulas, you go to Loomis's books and you see the formulas, and it's like halfway down the ball, there is a center line or a line, and that indicates the eyebrow line. And, you know, then coming down, and halfway between that and the chin is the mouth line or the nose line. I feel like we can use it as a broad idea of how to get in the ballpark of what it is that we're drawing. But as you can see from these 3 skulls, they are essentially, they're pretty dramatically different to each other. There's a whole lot of, you know, ethnicities that aren't represented in these 3 skulls that would make this range far more diverse yet again. If you think about the skull, something actually you'll read in Loomis's book, which I thought was an interesting observation, which I was like, oh yeah, that makes complete sense, which is, apart from the cheeks, everything that you see on the head is basically skin and bone, right? There's no like large masses of muscle or things that will distort the head. It's the skull and skin, right? Apart from the cheeks, yes, people put on a lot of weight that will distort to some degree, but even with that, you know, there's certain areas like the skull which, no matter how heavy you get, they simply really don't put on weight, it's relatively anyway. This is because of all of these differences and variations in potential, you know, processes to come up with this. There's just so many moving parts. It's one of the reasons I'm reluctant to even, you know, talk about skulls, even though the body moves around far more and has far more moving parts. For me, it's on some levels, it's much easier for me to get my head around. Anyway, I wanted you guys to see this image because I think it's important for us to understand that the skull says so much about the person, our subject, and the shape of, obviously, their head. So yeah, we have a few images today, and I'm actually going to put these images on screen while we're drawing, for those of you who don't have access to the reference, because I'm feeling generous today. Okay, we're going to start with this image. I think, honestly, in my opinion, in fact, with all of these images that we're going to do today, I think the relationship between light and shadow is as important consideration as what's happening structurally. And I think that, well, they're one and the same, really, aren't they? But I think that if you get the relationships between light and shadow in the right ballpark, it's going to solve a lot of your problems, right? Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. I've been rabbiting for a long time, and we should probably get on with some drawing. Okay. Hope that makes sense. We're just going to draw. Let's see what happens, huh? Okay, yeah, as I said, I'm going to put the images on screen. And we'll just start drawing. And we will draw, obviously, with all of these things in mind that we've just discussed. I just don't want us to get married to a formula. I think something that can happen is, you learn something like the Riley method. You can't let the method kind of lead. You can use it as a process, as a way to kind of problem solve. But I don't think we should try and get too formulaic, because I think it will ultimately, the drawing will suffer for it. Does this make sense so far? Anime faces are great introductory methods because they are flat by design while keeping the planes of the face relevant. So yeah, same thing with animation. Animated heads for the same reason. Lulu, I would agree. Those were all male heads, Lulu. Okay. All right, let's draw. The relationship between light and shadow, Jose, is everything, in my opinion. Even more so with heads than, to some degree, than with bodies. I feel a little bit naughty. Yeah, no, me too. That's what we're doing. We're doing it today. We won't be obviously doing it with the figure sessions, for obvious reasons. But we can do it here. I lost my mind trying to get the Loomis method to work on every model. You see, this is the problem, Tina. Is you can't be really too stuck on those ideas of those subdivisions, right? Okay, let's find our eyebrow line. And straight away, we want, this first image obviously is very, very straight on. So we want to find our center line. Sphere of the head. Chin is going to be about here. Okay. So the nose feels about roughly halfway between the eyebrows and the chin there. Oh yeah, there is something else I think I just want to share real quick. Sorry, because I think this is important. Let me just go back to sharing my screen real quick. This image. So this is an image. This is Riley method with my draw over notes, because I felt like there were some things, at least on this particular demo, that were wrong or not explained well enough. But couple of things to keep in mind. Corner of the eyes, if we come straight the way down, we'll find the edge of the nose, right? That's a really useful kind of form of measurement, let's say. Also, just generally looking at how the eye socket sits here, right? And the plane change that we have here on both sides. That's a really useful thing for us to keep in mind. And the fact that the nose is really kind of sitting on a large, almost like a large egg-shaped sphere type thing going through here. Something to keep in mind. Okay, let's go back to the drawing. Oh, okay, what am I doing here? There we go. Okay. Okay, so our eyebrows. Sorry. Eyeline. Maybe I'm stating the obvious, but something that's super important with heads is to make sure things like your eyes, your nose and your mouth are all on the same like relative horizontal plane, not that like one is on an angle like this or that type of thing. You'd be surprised. And just make sure that your eyes are both sitting on the same line. You see drifty eyes all the time. So just something to keep in mind. So what did everyone get up to while I was gone? Much? Nothing? Got to say, it was kind of strange not streaming. So we've got the turn as a plane change, just where the eyebrow comes down and starts to come down this way. We have the plane change here. It's really quite important. Because we get the temples, right? The flat plane of the temples sitting in here. Not sure how long we'll go on this pose. We'll just have to see how it goes. Huh? We have a Klingon head. We all have this protrusion here, actually, sitting in here, right? We have the mass above the eyebrow, a little bit of volume, right? So let's just measure here up to the hairline. Something about here. What's going on? I don't want vocals. All right. Here. The muzzle, yeah, I think it has a technical term too. Honestly, we pick, this is a challenging first pose because it is completely straight on. As I think I've said before, like, profiles tend to be easiest. Probably should have started with a profile, but front-ons like this tend to be yeah, pretty challenging because your symmetry just has to be bang on. You know, you don't really have any wiggle room. Okay, so we got a bit of hair sticking out here. Got the hat. Just kind of finding outer perimeter. Obviously we can't see the top of the head, but we can kind of probably imagine where things would be in relationship to each other. Yeah, well, I think the thing that we want to look for as we, once we get past this kind of rudimentary stage of just kind of the diagrammatical stage, let's say, it really is a case of squint and simplify. So if I squint, there are large areas that all go kind of into shadow, right? All the way through here. And even into the neck, it's kind of in the same value range. All of this under here. It's not a Pixar movie. Get out of here. Got a pocket of light here. But this is all same thing here. Who created this sculpture? It's a good question. I actually don't know the sculptor. If I find it, I'll let you know. Okay. Yeah, it's one of those. It's one of these images I've had on my computer forever. I actually did an oil painting study of this a few years back, but I wasn't very happy with it at all. I've always kind of liked the idea of having another stab at this. Now I think I need to switch to the graphite or to the charcoal. See what happens with that. Yeah, must know don't have enough value range with the Carbethello. Yeah, exactly. The sockets, the eye sockets really do tell us so much, you know. Reference is somewhat difficult for oil painting, in particular nuance. The facial blend is lost on it. Bad for value study. I don't know, Lulu. We're kind of going into a value study here to some degree or another. Look, none of it's easy. Where are we at? We're already at 25 minutes. Yikes. Told you. Heads are time consuming. Especially when you're not in practice with them. We're getting in practice together. You see, I think I'm just generally speaking, I'm too impatient for portraiture. All right. How are you guys finding this? Let me know. Animal drawing scared you into trying this instead. You know, I did not. It's like, well, it's funny. Yeah, I did a bit of. I did a little bit of animal drawing over the break. And look, we could do it like that. There's certainly, you know me. There's never any shortage of opinions to be had about things. I've certainly got a few opinions about animal drawing already formed, but I do just feel like if I'm, you know, orchestrating this shindig, I really need to at least be in somewhat practice. Although, then again, I'm doing these heads, and that's not the case. So, I don't know. you know, we could go on for another hour with this. I'm not sure if that's really something we want to do. It's like for me, when I'm doing, you know, these types of tonal studies, it's really about slowly building up, and it can take a while, you know. I need to clean my hands. This is hard. Yeah, it is hard. It's definitely a different experience, huh? Well, here's the thing. Talking of animal drawing and cats and horses, I'm not convinced that cats are actually the best test animal, or the animal to kind of learn our chops with. Not that they're bad. The reality is there's a lot of crossover with the anatomy from species to species. So, you know, once you understand the large skeletal structural ideas of, say, a horse, that stuff translates with adjustment, obviously, but that stuff translates to dogs and cats and many other animals. There's, you know, going to be exceptions, obviously, but the good thing about learning animal anatomy is it really does repeat itself quite a bit, you know. I kind of want to get on to the next pose, because the next one is a profile, and I think it'll be a slightly easier time of it for everyone. You know, you could go in, come to think of it. Hold on. Could be a quicker way to go, although this is obviously, this could end badly quickly. But let's see. Get into our darker darks a bit quicker, maybe with a bit of charcoal powder. All right, so we're at 33 minutes. What do we want to do? Do we want to continue with this pose, or do we want to jump on to the next one? You guys tell me. Jump. says Linda. All right. I'm happy to jump. Yeah, this is feeling quite incomplete. Jump. All right. Hemant is out. See you, Hemant. All right. Yeah, like this needs a lot more work. And I don't think any of us really have the patience for right now to continue. All right. I think there's certain things that are kind of working. This is where I need my practice with portraiture, because I need to be a bit more direct with my drawing. Let me just find some music. Yikes. Okay. That's a hat. Thanks, Tina. Well, look, I think that, yeah, look, practice drawing, right? It's all good. Okay, next one is a profile. Let's see what we can do here. All right, let me reset the clock. Yeah, I wasn't around last week a month. But here we are. Okay, let's try and find, because the head is on a slight angle. The front plane of the head is coming down about here. Chin is about here. Eyebrows sitting here. I found some great reference today for heads, like, well, what I thought was great reference. And I'm like, you know, I'm looking. I was looking for profile heads actually like this, and I'm looking, and I'm not really that inspired by anything that I'm seeing. And then I saw some great reference, and I'm like, oh, that's so nice. And then as I dug a little deeper, turns out it was all AI. And it was like, well, there you go. Pull that down. The old Northerner. Hello folks, tuning in for this time. Been trying for years and I've really been enjoying the videos here on the channel. Good stuff. Thanks Northerner. Appreciate it. Got any trips planned, Richard? Nothing very exciting. Well, the one thing I have to do trip-wise is I have to start making some road trips around England, because I've got a feeling we're going to need to move house, and I think we're going to have to move to a different part of the country. Because this is a very expensive part of the country that we're currently in. So the trips will involve just, you know, one night here, one night there, and because, you know, I lived in the States for so long. There's great swaths of England I have no clue about. Oh, I need to change the image. There we go. Jose, check out the, I will send you, it's not hard to find, Jose, reference of models from different angles, heads. You just need to know where to find, where to look. You'll find some on Graphit, but there's, I feel like if you do a Google search, you'll answer that question real quick. You know, I don't know if they make it available to non-students, Jose, but New Masters Academy have some great reference. This music's brutal, isn't it? Sorry, I'm gonna have to go back to the old playlist. I think my ear needs to be further back. See the core shadow under the chin and the reflected light under the chin. Core shadow here and then the reflected light under here. It's lovely. very little hair detail, so we're just going to have to kind of make that up to some degree or another. Some insanely subtle halftones in the cheek. Actually, talking about DIY light soft boxes. Oh yeah, sure. Why not? Excuse me. Room tour. What, this room, this office? I don't know. Do you want to see that? It's not so interesting. Yeah, making a right mess. 23 minutes. Okay. I think I'm going to move on in just a minute. All right, I'm going to call it. Yeah. All right. Next pose. Oof, next one's going to be a toughie. Sometimes it's really handy to be able to check on the screen, so find things that need to be adjusted. All right, this next one's going to be tough. Like those weren't tough enough. Jose, I think you're over. I think everyone's over designing this problem. You'll find reference. There's hundreds of hundreds of thousands of images out on the internet of people from different angles, different poses. I don't think you need to worry about it. It's a world-class beard that has very little information. There. Let's see what happens. Let me change. There we go. It's the new image. Yeah, self-portraits are fine. Just, you know, there's lots of faces out there in the world. Got any summer leave stories when you were a kid? Well, I'll tell you an interesting little story, Hemant. So, about when I was a kid, I guess you could say it's a summer story to some degree or another. So I was born in England, and when I was, I think, 5 years old, I'll start the timer, and we'll get going on this next pose. When I was about 5 years old, we moved to Spain. And my dad was a bit older when I was born. My dad was like almost 50, I think, when I was born, 49. And so he was already looking for like reasons or, you know, ways to kind of take it easy. So yeah, we moved to Spain when I was about 5. And we ended up buying, my parents ended up buying a house halfway up a mountain. Now, it wasn't completely secluded. There was other people living. There But the point is, from ages 5 to 11, I had zero entertainment as far as telly or even friends, frankly. I had a couple, but so my whole, basically from ages 5 to 11, until we moved back to England when I was 11 years old, was spent basically me trying to amuse myself with drawing and model building and that type of thing. And so yeah, I had no TV that whole time. And yeah, there was a couple of friends that were in a similar situation, but for the most part, it was a pretty unconventional childhood. But I do wonder, if I hadn't had that childhood, if I would have ended up following the path that I did with drawing and all of that. We'll see if we can use some of this Riley method to, you know, help construct. Not dying of boredom as a kid is beyond relatable. Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Like, you know, great for the parents, like Spain, the land of, at that time especially, the land of cheap wine and nice easy living, but yeah, for a kid it was definitely different. Although really I don't think I would change that experience ultimately. Yeah. It's a very different session today, huh? Like, it's been good. It's been very educational. One thing I like about this Riley method, it's a useful thing. This line that starts above the ear, right? Let's say our ear is sitting in here, right? And we've got this line that comes down this way and then kind of connects up with the chin down here. Between that, the line that comes off the corner of the eye here, right? This kind of crease line that comes down this way and meets up with it. And then this third line, which acts as this plane edge, this plane here. You get this lovely little triangle here, and you can see on the reference how that's kind of in tone, right? It's in shadow. That's where things like this method is useful for finding structurally these types of ideas. But I think it's safe to say that at least I need a lot more practice of this stuff, and I think it's only fair that if I'm going to put myself through it, it's only fair that I put you guys through it too, right? Take care, Jäger. Yeah, there's a lot to kind of dissect with what's going on with the cheeks, and where this beard is. As I see it, you know, the beard line is kind of coming down this way. Sitting in here. It is complex. I think it's a blessing and a curse that the contrast between light and dark is as extreme as it is. Would like to try and exploit that though, so let's see what we can do here with that in mind. I'm from Spain. I spent my childhood living in a house in the countryside as well. The story of friends is similar to yours. So it got me into drawing as well. Yeah, you know, it's it is funny, isn't it? Like, just I think though kids are just very good at kind of improvising. Misery loves company. Yep, that's pretty much it, Lily. Well, at least you know going in what the agreement. So I'm just going to treat that whole area like it's in dark. Does the figure have a closed or an open mouth? Not terribly large screen at the moment. I would say it's essentially closed. Obviously, the cast shadow coming off the volume of the moustache would, it's, you know, around this area, it's maybe making it feel like it's open. It might be open a tiny bit. Honestly, it's hard to tell. Okay. It's interesting, isn't it? You can just say so much with light and tone. Like, we don't really need to show any of the detail of this eye. Even this one, you could say, you know, we're just showing a tiny bit of that lower lid. But the tonal relationships are far more important than detail. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, this comes back to this thing that we talk about all the time with the figure drawing. So when we're doing tone, what's in light and what's in shadow. Find that and you'll solve a lot of your problems. I'm not 100, Lucas says, I'm not 100% clear on the shade around the mouth with these references. Any idea for solving those? With the shade around the mouth. I'm not actually sure what to tell you, Lucas. I do have a couple of other images of this same sculpture from different angles that could potentially help problem solve if you saw those. Yeah. All right. Where are we at? 24 minutes already. I think this is going to be the last pose, guys and gals. Wow, there's a lot of comments been going on. All right, then we'll hit this with a bit of a razor. And you see, there's a strong temptation to hit this entire outer edge with dark tone, you know, to try and match the reference. I think that this is a good compromise rather than trying to chase that particular rabbit down that particular hole. Feel free to check out the art design of the Darkest Dungeon game. The first one uses this type of eye shading for storytelling. All right. The Darkest Dungeon. Okay. I will. Oh, yeah, I can even see from the images what you're talking about. Yeah, fair enough. All right. Okay. Tiny bit of eraser action, and then we will call it for today. All right. So what's the general consensus? You guys want to do more of this type of thing? Heads? Is this interesting to you folks? You know, it's definitely a bit different to what we normally do. Personally, I need to do more of this stuff for sure, because yeah, well, for obvious reasons. I think that's probably a pretty good place to stop. You see, you can just keep noodling, but it gets dangerous. Yeah, let's call it there. All right, guys. Heads we win, tails you lose. We could all lose. Another head lesson would be great. I need the shadow practice. Yeah, look, I think that there's a place for this, right? In the rotation. Maybe we'll do it more of it next week, or we'll go to animals. Animals will come, I promise, because I want to do animals. I just want to feel like although we did this and it's not exactly like I was on point. So we could just go ahead and do animals. All right, I'm rambling officially. Cool. All right, guys, look, Thursday will be a regular figure drawing session. You know, the usual. So, no animals, says Linda. Now, animals are happening, Linda, on the Monday session. At some point, animals are happening. Why wouldn't we do animals? There's a huge place for animals, animal drawing, and it's fascinating, actually, in my opinion, animal anatomy and the similarities, you know, realizing that, yeah, your dog also has a latissimus. Funnily enough, when I was doing some anatomy study the other day, some animal anatomy study, I noticed they even have the sartorius going down in a similar way that we do. It's really fascinating, as well as many other muscles, obviously. But yeah, anyway, well, look, that will all happen in due course. I think that heads, we definitely need to do more heads, right? Like this is necessary and way overdue. But as I said, Thursday will be regular figure drawing. Lulu says, I really dislike animal drawings. However, methinks it would be kind of interesting to try at least once. Until you've tried it, you can't knock it. That's what I say. You're very welcome, old northerner. Northern England? Northern America? Where old northerner of where, old northerner? That's what I want to know. You're very welcome. No heads were harmed in the filming of this episode. Rick, I would beg to differ. Do animals, dogs? Well, I think, yeah, look, there's a lot of animals that could keep us busy for a while. I think dogs or horses, personally, they seem to make the most sense as the starter animal, the seed animal, for us to kind of get our heads around the anatomy. And maybe dogs more so than even horses because of the foot thing. Anyway, it's all ahead of us. Guys, this was, you know, it was tough, it had its moments, but I think it was, at least for me, it was very, really necessary. And yeah, I look forward to doing this again. Bears, sure. Bears can be on the list. All right, guys. Thursday, the usual time, as was today. And I'll see you all then. All right, take care, guys. Cheers. Bye.